Hello. Welcome to a video that you probably weren't expecting. It's more so a rant of some kind, I guess. So I was playing as Spacegodzilla, ready to make a montage for him about he's actually pretty busted and such, but after playing some games, I realized he was the complete opposite of the spectrum. And if you don't know what that means, he's very bad. Now, before you get your angry comments saying how my opinion sucks, let me explain. In Godzilla Battle Line, there are leaders. For example, Godzilla, Mothra, Kong, Yeah, them. As a leader unit, they get buff to their health as well as a special move. Some of them do burst damage, some of them are for support, and others wanting to make people rage at why these moves are so busted. I'm looking at you, Kiryu. I could go on, but that doesn't really matter considering this video is focused on Spacegodzilla. Speaking of which, what does this have to do with Spacegodzilla? Well, his move is so bad I wonder why it exists. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Toho wonders why they added this move. It does what it does in Spacegodzilla's first debut film. It gives Spacegodzilla, and for this game specifically, any other unit / kaiju an attack increase. So why would I, a Godzilla fan, say that the special move sucks? Well, it's because of how bad the crystals are with its special. When used, I quote from the actual description of the game, produces 6 crystals across the battlefield and increases damage dealt by allied units near the crystals by 20%. It does seem pretty nice having a 20% damage increase for a set amount of time, but that would only be nice if the crystals actually spawn near your ally units, because most of the time the crystals spawn on the opposite side of where your kaiju will be. And when his special does work, your army will be dead, making this move practically useless. And on top of that, its crystals are very weak and can be destroyed by practically any enemy in the game. I also have to add this. The leaders are split up by different ranks. There are 1-star rank, 2-star rank, 3-star rank, and 4-star rank. 4-star ranks are very good because they have very bullshit health as leaders, and they can have very dumb special moves that make you want to toss your phone across a room in pure rage. Kiryu. Sorry about that. Although I feel like Spacegodzilla got the short end of the stick with his special move. I would complain about the cost, but there are other 4-star kaiju that can use a special abilities at an oh-so-low cost of 1 energy. But compared to those stats to Spacegodzilla and the stats that you add oh-so-low cost of 1 energy, it doesn't really add up, and it's definitely not in Spacegodzilla's favor. Compared to others that has very low energy cost, Mothra can heal your allies, which is very helpful. Biollante can do a lot of damage in a straight line as well, increasing the movement speed of kaiju in bodies of water, which is also very helpful considering water is kind of like a hindrance in this game. Kong increases the damage dealt of its allies, if they're 6+ energy, by 20%. And that is their attack, by the way, which, depending on which setup you're using, can actually do pretty good damage, considering 6+ energy cost kaiju are pretty strong. And Godzilla's the nuclear Gorosaurus. I could go on, but you get the idea. These kaiju affect the battlefield by helping its allies way better than Spacegodzilla. And honestly, it just makes Spacegodzilla outclassed. Now that I've finished talking about how bad it is, let's talk about ways to make it better. Mostly it's special because it sucks. Okay, before we change a Spacegodzilla special, I will give it this. It's very good for certain situations because the kaiju, well, the opposing ones to be more exact, will target the crystals instead of you or your kaiju, which will give your kaiju or yourself a little more time to actually hoard off the attackers. But I really don't think that's a very good situational use. It just doesn't seem good. But now after that part, How about we actually change Space Godzilla special in order to make it be better? We could do that a plethora of different ways. We can make it be that only certain kaiju get affected by it. For example, Kong special only affects certain kaiju that have 6+ energy. But for this one, it only affected species of the Gojira species. For example, the 1954 Gojira, 2022 Godzilla. At least that's what I think it is, considering it shows the background of Godzilla vs. Kong, which came out in 2022 for its little thingy. But I'm getting sidetracked. Burning Godzilla, you get the idea. Any types of Godzilla, it gets the buff in the radius. Or, if we're going to have it to be how it is in the vanilla game, we could actually just decrease it from its 120-second cooldown to 60 seconds of cooldown, making this move better than it already was. But if Toho decides to change the move entirely, they already have a few ideas at their disposal, more specifically the Atari/Pipeworks trilogy of Godzilla video games. They could easily base it off of one of his moves. One move that I could think of is him using his crystals as like a shield to deflect all attacks, because in those games he uses crystals as an offensive tool. And in this game specifically, they could take the crystal idea, turn it into a shield, and make that shield deflect 15% of the damage back on the attacker. I haven't played any of the games that Godzilla, more accurately Space Godzilla, came from, but I believe the reflective damage thing doesn't apply to those games, but this game specifically will apply the 15% damage back on the attacker to make it seem a little more fair. This move will cost 4 energy points and will have a cooldown of 80 seconds. Boom, done. Fixed your Space Godzilla. What's next? Am I gonna get hired at Toho? I don't think so. I'm just a little idiot with no mind of what I'm doing. Just sitting here making YouTube videos. Oh, life is good, isn't it?
気流が反応しません。
I'm looking at you, Kirum. Oh my god, Kirum. Why did I say Kirum? Oh, it's a fucking Pokemon. The 20 damage increase does... Okay, I fumbled on that. Some do burst damage, some do for... It does what it does in Space Godzilla's first debut game. I did not mean to say that.